Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. My homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay. So, hello everybody. Welcome to this Peaceful Buddhism Dhamma program. So we talked about two topics. We talked about the mind and we talked about the truth. So today we are going to talk about karma based on an important sutta from Majjhima Nikaya named Cūḷakammavibhaṅga Sutta, the short discourse on karma or deeds. So my name is Bhante Mahinda Vijaya. I'm a Theravada Buddhist monk from the Sri Lankan Theravada Buddhist tradition, monastic tradition. So let's move on to the topic. So we're going to talk about karma. Okay, so Buddha said that there are three types of karma that we should know about. So karma means action, something that we do with our body, speech and mind. So in order to do something, there has to be a mental formation. That is called volition, or in Pali that is called cetana. If that mental formation is not there, we cannot do anything. We cannot do anything with our body, we cannot speak, we cannot even think if that mental formation is not there. So for every deed, there has to be a volition or some kind of a formation in the mind, so that that force will be will support the action. So there are wholesome actions and unwholesome actions. For example, if somebody kills beings, kills creatures or animals, that's an action, that's a bodily action, and that is unwholesome. But in order to do that, there has to be an unwholesome mental formation which support that action. There has to be anger or greed, some kind of a mental formation that supports that action, so that when that action is done, that is called karma, and it will have a result. It will give a result in the future. So person who does unwholesome actions will have experience painful results in the future. Also, there are wholesome actions. For example, if somebody gives alms or helps somebody, helps people who are in need, so that's wholesome action based on generosity. So if someone does an action like that, there has to be a mental formation which is wholesome. So in this case, it's generosity based on non-greed. So that's a mental formation, and that mental formation will support that action that person is doing, and that action will ripe in the future and will give a good result, a pleasant result to that person. So that is the basic idea of karma. So according to the teachings of the Buddha, all karma done with respect to the body, speech and mind, whether it's wholesome or unwholesome, will have a result, will give a result in the future. It will ripe in the future and will give a result correspondingly. So when this result of karma is considered, that can be broken down into three types. So there are three types of karma as per the teachings of the Buddha. First one is karma that ripes in this very life. That means if someone does an action, whether wholesome or unwholesome, that action will give a result in this very life. That is called, in Pali, that is called Ditta Dhamma Vedaniya. That means that karma will give a result. That means a result is a feeling. pleasant feeling or unpleasant feeling, or painful feeling, or a neutral feeling. That feeling is experienced by that person in this very life. Those types of karma are called Dhamma Vedaniya, or karma that ripe in this very life. Also, there are karma that do not ripe in this life, but it will give results in the immediate or the next life, when he passes away, and when that person is reborn in a different realm. That process is supported by the results of karma. So that karma ripes in the next life, not in this life. So those types of karma are called Upapacca Vedaniya. That means karma that will give feelings, painful feelings or pleasant feelings or neutral feelings in the next life. And it will not give results, it will not ripe in this life. It will ripe in the next life. So this is the second type of karma. Third type of karma is those karma that are done in this life will not give results in this life or the next, but someday in the future, in some life in the future, it will ripe and it will start giving results. So the third type of karma is karma that ripes during the existence of samsara. So these three types of karma are there, and we cannot actually say, if we see somebody doing something, we can't say for sure that it will give results in this life or the next. We cannot say, oh, this action falls into this category, like that. It's not possible to say, but this phenomenon is there. There are some types of karma that will give results in this life, or it will give results in the next life, or someday in some life in the future, existence of samsara. So these are the three types of karma. So let's move on to the sutta that we're going to talk about. The sutta is Cūḷakammavibhaṅga Sutta. I have given you the link. You can take a look at that. And if you go to the next slide. So in that sutta, there is a person named Subha. He's a young person. So he's kind of a student. So Buddha addresses him as a student. So this person named Subha, he came to the Buddha, and he wanted to know the reason for this diversity in this world. So he asks, what is the cause, Master Gautama? What is the reason? Why even among those who are human beings, some are seen to be inferior and superior? So there are, in many aspects, there are people who are inferior and superior in that particular aspect. So that means there are people who are short-lived and who are long-lived. Also, there are people who are sickly and healthy, ugly and beautiful, insignificant and illustrious or significant, poor and rich, low-born and high-born. So low-born means those who are born in low castes, and there are people who are born in high castes, like in royal families. And there are people who are stupid, and there are people who are wise. So this diversity is there in the world. So this person named Subha, he wanted to know the reason behind this diversity. So he asks, what is the reason why even among those who are human beings, some are seen to be inferior and superior? So this is the question. So Buddha gives a very short answer. The answer is, Buddha says, student, sentient beings are the owners of their karma and heir to their karma. Karma is their womb, their relative, and their refuge. It is karma that divides beings into inferior and superior. So this is a short answer that Buddha gave Subha. So here Buddha says, beings are the owners of their karma. That means whatever karma, whatever action that these sentient beings do, they will inherit the results of the same karma that they themselves did. So they are heir to their karma. The results of karma will be experienced by those people, those beings. They are the owners of the karma. They own their karma. Karma is their womb. So womb means the place beings are born. So karma decides where a being would be born in that being's next life. So Buddha said that there's a karmic force or karmic field that support the existence of samsara. He gave a simile. He said, just like a seed would be planted on a field, that seed would grow because of water or moisture, and that seed would turn out to be let's say a tree, and it will give fruits. It will give results. And just like that, Buddha said, karma is the field. According to that simile, Buddha said, karma is the field, and consciousness is the seed, and craving is the water or moisture. So there has to be the field, the seed, and the moisture for it to grow and to ripe in the future. So all three should be there. So karma is the field, consciousness is the seed, and craving is the moisture. So beings who are the owners of their karma would be reborn in their next lives when they pass away, and their consciousness would act like a seed, and karma will be the field, and they will gain another life according to their actions, according to their karma. So that's why Buddha said karma is the womb. Their relative, karma is their relative. Relatives are the ones who are with us. Relatives are the ones who help us. So karma will be there for that being, whether good or bad. If it's a bad karma, it will give bad results. If that's a good karma, it will give good results. So if a person has good relatives, he will get help. If that person does not have good relatives, if their relatives are unwholesome and bad, they will experience suffering. So just like relatives, karma is there for us to, karma will help the beings to exist. It can be good or it can be bad. So that's why Buddha said karma is their relative and karma is their refuge. So in order to escape from the existence of samsara, one has to do actions with respect to their body, speech and mind. And that will be a karma. So that karma will help that being to escape from samsara. So that karma is the noble eightfold path. Noble path that being has to follow. So that being will have to follow or practice virtue, concentration and wisdom, and follow the noble eightfold path in order to escape from samsara. That is also a karma. So that karma will help that being to escape from samsara, escape from the existence of samsara. So karma is kind of a force that we can't see, but it's there. So Buddha explained that, and he said that karma divides beings into inferior and superior. So when he said that, Subha didn't understand the real meaning of that. So he said, Master Gautama, please explain this what you just said. So Buddha explained the reasons behind all these differences. So in the first slide, we learned that there are people who are short-lived and long-lived. That means there are beings who, when they are born into this world, inherently they will have a lifespan which is short. There is no way that he can improve that. So his lifespan will be short. Somehow or other he will have to die before others. So that person is short-lived. Also, there are long-lived people. They will have a long lifespan. So it's true that some people will die before their lifespan ends for different reasons. But there is this phenomenon where beings will have a certain amount of lifespan with them, so that they will be able to live in this world. So that lifespan is decided by karma. And there are people who are sickly and healthy. So there are people who have very low immunity, and they will face, or they will experience sickness all the time. So they are sickly people. And also there are healthy people who have very good immunity, and they will be very healthy. So you get that with their birth. And the reason behind that is karma. And also there are ugly and beautiful beings, people, and there are insignificant and significant or illustrious people. Insignificant means nobody will listen to their words. Whatever they try to speak or tell the world, they will not listen. They are so insignificant. Also, there are people, when they speak, they can make a big impact in the society. So they are significant. So that impact can be good or bad, but still that person's words will have so much power. So there are insignificant beings and significant beings. Also, there are poor people and rich people. So it's true that a poor person can strive and become rich. That's true, but there is this difference in the society where when a person is born into a poor family, that person will have experienced poverty. And if a person is born in a rich family, that person will have a lot of luxuries in his life. And there are situations where a rich person can also become poor in this very life. Also, a poor person can become rich later, but that's true. What we understand from this sutta is this difference is there, and there is a karmic force which support this diversity. Also, there are low-born and high-born people. Low-born means people who are born into low classes or low castes. So if person is born as a low-born, born into a low class or low caste family, that person will have to experience different types of difficulties. And a high-born person, like a prince or a princess, will experience so much sensual pleasure or power in their lives. So this difference is there in the world. Also, there are stupid people and wise people. So to be born as an unwise person, there is a karmic support. And also, to become a wise person, there is a karmic background. So Buddha explained all these 7 types of differences. So there are 7 types of differences that is spoken in this sutta. And Buddha, one by one, he explains. So the reason behind the lifespan, how much lifespan a person gets, is, Buddha said, there is a woman or a man who kills living creatures. They are violent, they are bloody-handed, they are hardened killers, they are merciless to living beings. So if someone practices this way of life, if they kill beings, Buddha said in their next life they will be reborn as in a deprived state in a hell world, either animal world or hell world or any bad destination, and they will exist in samsara in those lives, and someday in the future, in some random life in the future, they will come back to the human world, and when they come back to the human world, they will be short-lived. Also, there are people, here Buddha said a woman or a man gives up killing living creatures. They renounce the rod and the sword. They don't harm anybody. They are scrupulous and kind. They live lives full of compassion. They have compassion for all living beings. So when they practice this way of life, this path, Buddha said, in their next lives, in the future, they will be reborn in heavenly worlds, in good states, good destinations, and they will exist in samsara. And someday in the future, in some life in the future, they will come back to the human world. From the heavenly worlds, they will come back to the human world, and they will get long lifespans when they come into this world, into this human world. So there is a karmic field behind this difference. That's what Buddha points out. So in order to get a long life, one has to practice. They have to abstain from killing beings. So that's why the Buddha laid down these precepts for his disciples, so that they will get happiness in their future lives. They'll be able to escape from suffering little by little when they avoid these bad actions, unwholesome actions. So there's a reason behind having a short life versus having a long life. And the next one is the reason behind being sickly, being born as a sickly person or a healthy person. Buddha said, there's a woman or a man who habitually hurts living creatures with a fist, stone, rod, or sword. So if a person hurts living creatures physically with their fists or with stones or rods or weapons or whatever, they will hurt other animals, other beings. So if they practice this way of life, if they practice this path, Buddha said they will be reborn in a bad destination, in a deprived state, in a hell world, in their next lives. And when they come back to the human world in a future life, they will live sickly. They will be sickly. They won't be healthy. So they will experience suffering based on illnesses, and they will have experienced that because they have done this bad karma in their past lives. Also, Buddha said, if a woman or a man does not habitually hurt living creatures with a fist, stone, rod, or sword, if they practice compassion and will not hurt other beings, that's a good karma. And as a result of that karma, they'll be reborn in heavenly worlds, in good destinations, and when they come back to the human world, in some life in the future, they will live healthy lives. They will be very healthy. So there's a reason behind this difference we see in this world. There's a karmic field which creates this difference in the world. So the reason behind being ugly and beautiful, Buddha said, there's a woman or a man who is irritable and bad-tempered. Even when lightly criticized, they lose their temper, becoming annoyed, hostile, and hard-hearted. and displaying annoyance, hate, and bitterness. So there are people like that who get angry very quickly. So if they practice this way of life for a long time in this life, and they will accumulate bad karma. So that is actually bad karma done with their mind. So that karma, as a result of that karma, they will be reborn in bad destinations, and when they come back to the human world, they will be very ugly. Why? Because they have practiced hatred in their lives, in their previous lives. Whereas if a woman or a man is not irritable and bad-tempered, and even when heavily criticized, they don't lose their temper. They don't become annoyed, hostile, and hard-hearted, or they do not display annoyance, hate, and bitterness. So there are people like this. So when they practice this way of life, this path, they will, Buddha said, as a result of that good karma, so they suppress anger. So that's what we do with loving kindness meditation. We try to suppress anger. So Buddha explained different methods to do good karma, so that these beings will experience happiness in their lives, in future lives. Also, they will be able to escape from suffering. So if a man or a woman practice loving kindness like this, and if they suppress anger and hatred, as a result of that karma, they will be reborn in heavenly worlds, and when they come back to the human world, they will be very beautiful. So there's a reason behind being ugly and beautiful. Also, there are people who are insignificant and illustrious or significant. Buddha said, there's a woman or a man who's jealous. They envy, resent, and begrudge the possessions, honor, respect, reverence, homage, and veneration given to others. They're so jealous. They're envious towards others' gains and honors they get. So if they practice the jealousy in their lives, if they practice this way of life, being envious or being jealous, as a result of that unwholesome mental quality, they will be reborn in a bad destination. And when they come back to the human world, some life in the future, they'll be very insignificant. Nobody will listen to their words. They will not be able to make an impact to the society and be a significant person. So this is because they have practiced jealousy in their previous lives. Also, Buddha said, if a woman or a man is not jealous, if they do not envy, resent, and begrudge the possessions, honor, respect, reverence, homage, and veneration given to others, if they're not jealous, that's a mental action, that's a wholesome mental quality that the person will practice. And if they can practice that way of life, as a result of that good karma, they will be reborn in heavenly worlds. And when they come back to the human world, they'll be very significant and illustrious. When they speak, a lot of people will love to hear or give ear to him. So that difference is there in the world, and this is the reason, the karmic reason behind that difference. Okay, so being poor versus rich. Buddha said, a woman or man does not give ascetics or Brahmins such things as food, drink, clothing, vehicles, garlands, perfumes, and makeup, whatever, and bed, house, and lighting. So these things can be given to ascetics and Brahmins. So if they do not give alms, if they're not generous, Buddha said, as a result, so that means in order to live a life like this, that person will be known in the society as a miser. That person will not give anything to anybody or keep everything to themselves. So they're not generous. So if that way of life is practiced in this world, as a result of that, that's kind of a greed, and that person will be reborn in a bad destination, and when they come back to the human world, they will be poor. They will not be able to be rich. There are people who try to become rich, but no matter what they do, they will remain being poor in the society. So there is a karmic force which creates this difference in the society. Also, Buddha said, if a woman or man gives to ascetics or Brahmins such things as food, drink, clothing, etc., bed, house, and lighting, and if that person practices generosity, they give alms to others. As a result of that action, that karma, that person will be reborn in a heavenly world, in a good destination, and when they come back to the human world, they will be rich. They will be born in rich families. They don't have to do much to become rich, and they will live in abundance with a lot of money and wealth. So there's a reason behind this difference in societies. There's a samsaric or karmic force which creates this difference. And in order to be lowborn versus highborn, Buddha said, a woman or man is obstinate and vain. They do not bow to those they should bow to. So they do not respect others. There are people who deserve respect, who practice good qualities, and those people should be respected by the society. But these people, this woman or man, is obstinate and vain. They're so proud of themselves, and they do not bow and respect those should be respected. And they don't rise up for them. They do not offer them a seat. They do not make way for them. They do not honor, respect, esteem, or venerate those who are worthy of venerations. So, for example, if you take Buddha is filled with so much amazing qualities, and he should be venerated by others because others have not gained these types of great qualities as the Buddha. So Buddha deserves to be, he's worthy of venerations. So if someone does not venerate or respect a person like that, who's worthy of respect, he's a person like this, and this person does not bow or rise up or offer a seat or make way for people who should be venerated and respected. So they're so proud of themselves. So that because of that pride, because of being obstinate and vain, these people, when they die and when they are reborn in a different world, they will be reborn in a bad destination. And when they come back to the human world, some life in the future, they will be lowborn. They will be born in low castes, because since they did not respect those who should be respected, they'll be lowborn, and they will not gain respect from society, because usually that discrimination is there in the world. No matter how we try to abandon discrimination from society, that's there in the world. And it's not possible to eliminate discrimination completely. So always there's a tendency in the society that a low-born person will not gain respect from the society. So that's there in the world. So the reason behind that is that low-born person has not respected others in their past lives. Also, Buddha said, if a woman or man who is not obstinate and vain, they bow to those they should bow to, they rise up for them, they offer them a seat, make way for them, or they honor, respect, esteem, or venerate those who are worthy of such venerations and such respect. So when they respect those who should be respected, that's a wholesome action, because they have to be very modest in order to do that. So that's a great quality. So if that great quality is practiced in this world, they'll be reborn in heavenly worlds in their next lives, and when they come back to the human world, they'll be highborn and they will gain respect from the society. So this is the reason behind that difference in the world. Also, the reason to become unwise. So there are people who are born stupid. So no matter how you try to make them understand a reality, they will not be able to understand that. So because of that lack of wisdom. So Buddha said, a woman or man does not approach an ascetic or Brahmin to ask, Sir, what is wholesome and what is unwholesome? What is blameworthy and what is blameless? What should be cultivated and what should not be cultivated? What kind of action will lead to my lasting harm and suffering? Or what kind of action will lead to my lasting welfare and happiness? So this woman or man will try to find out what is wholesome and what is unwholesome, what should be practiced and what should be abandoned. So they will search for what is wholesome and what is unwholesome, because they want to abandon unwholesome qualities and practice wholesome qualities. So if they search for these wholesome and unwholesome qualities in order to develop wholesome qualities, because of this action, because they search for the truth, they search for the wholesome qualities. If they practice this way of life, if they search for wisdom, they will gain wisdom in the future, in future lives. They said they will be reborn in heavenly worlds. Those who search for truth will be reborn in heavenly worlds, and when they come back to the human world, they'll be wise. Whereas if a woman or a man does not approach an ascetic or Brahmin to ask what is wholesome or is unwholesome, if they do not search for the truth or wisdom or the way to practice wholesome qualities, they will, since they did not search for these great qualities, as a result of that karma, they will be reborn in bad destinations, and when they come back to the human world, they'll be very stupid. Why? Because they did not search for wisdom in their past lives. So this is the reason behind this difference in society. So in this sutta, Buddha explained the difference or this diversity, the reason behind this diversity. So what we understand is there is a karmic field which decides our destiny. So Buddha didn't say that everything happens because of karma. There is a way to escape from karma, because to escape from samsara, you have to escape from karma. Because of karma, the beings are reborn in this samsara again and again, and they experience suffering as a result of being in this samsaric journey. So in order to escape from samsara, one has to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. That is also a karma. That's why Buddha said karma is also their refuge. So one has to practice karma, good karma, in order to escape from samsara. So virtue, concentration, and wisdom, all these three things are karma. So Buddha laid down precepts for the disciples to practice. For example, for lay people, there are 5 precepts that they should practice. So when they practice this, they abandon unwholesome actions, unwholesome karma, and they cultivate good karma, and they practice virtue. That karma helps them to find happiness. Also, they will be able to improve concentration based on virtue. So that concentration will help them to gain wisdom. So when they gain these 3 things, virtue, concentration, and wisdom, they'll be able to escape from unwholesome qualities and purify their minds and realize the truth, the Four Noble Truths, and escape from samsara. So we learned something very important in the sutta. So if we go to the slide where Buddha explains the short answer to Subha's question. So Buddha said, sentient beings are the owners of their karma and heir to their karma. Karma is their womb, their relative, and their refuge. It is karma that divides beings into inferior and superior. So if we can understand this, I think we can we can practice wholesome qualities and abandon unwholesome qualities and practice the Dhamma and find true happiness in the future. So I think we can wind up now. So today we learned an important sutta, and I hope this sutta, the things we learned today, will help all of you to find true happiness. So may all of us be able to realize this good Dhamma and practice good qualities and realize the Four Noble Truths and escape from suffering. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So until we meet next time, I wish you all success and may you be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.